Antarctica, the vast ice and snow-covered continent at the bottom of the world, is quite possibly the most mysterious place on Earth. We hear legends of entrances to the hollow Earth being located at both poles, and conspiracies of Google Earth hiding the evidence, and much more besides. Undiscovered pyramids, vast alien cities emerging from the thawing ice, UFOs, Nazis, flash-frozen aliens and great ice walls all play a part in the conspiracy narrative. But could it be true?
I believe, this is one of my beliefs, one of the things that I've been told, is that Antarctica back in the day was Atlantis. It was a very tropical forested area. The moon itself, some people believe, is an actual, almost like a prison base. So the aliens that are up there would use human beings as a slave. And there are written texts from millennia ago that talk about the moon finally arriving. And I think it plays into all of that. There have been recent reports of UFOs across Antarctica. I don't understand why we can't see that on Google Earth. If there's nothing there, I don't understand what the secrecy is. I'm a great believer in energy, so I think everything's to do with energy. And at the poles, that magnetic energy is intensified. So if we were going to put an alien race anywhere on the Earth, that'd be a really good place to put them. There are photographs which seem to show half of a craft from 2020, so quite a recent one. I believe that part of global warming is coming from below. The reason those ice caps are melting quickly is because there's an underground base down there. And people say, well, why would you believe that? That's absolutely ridiculous. Why were we talking about it 12,000 years ago when we didn't have global communication? How can all of these tribes across the world have a very similar story to tell when they've not spoken to each other? So I don't believe the moon is actually the moon, and the Antarctic plays into that, I really believe, because I think there's two places on the Earth where we can't go. That's both poles. We're not allowed at both poles. Why? Why are we not allowed? Even if it was something as simple as a weapon test, you'd think it'd leak out. Someone would give a story, wouldn't you? And it just doesn't seem to be like that. Anything that comes out of that area is hushed up immediately. I don't understand as well, us humans are very greedy, and there are resources at the pole that we could cash in on, yet we're not doing it. What if the aliens are? What if they use something at the pole, some resource that's out there, and that's why they're there? They're there to power up, whatever you want to give it. So for me, Antarctica itself is an entire mystery. I would love to get my feet on the ground.
I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this Earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
I've read a lot about Admiral Byrd, watched a lot of documentaries on him. Really admire the guy, because the time that he did this was not really advanced flying equipment that he would have had. He would have pretty good aeroplanes, but not enough to get you into Antarctica and through and wherever he claims he went to. What a guy. The way he took on Antarctica was brave, for one, and very adventurous. The things that come to me and come to mind, there was a TV interview with him, and very naively, didn't know, I think it was naive or on purpose maybe, to say he flew over Antarctica and he came out the other side of the ice wall to a land bigger than America, with minerals on shore like your coal and your gold and silver. You could see it. It was in cuts of mountains, and he was talking about, there's lands beyond and resources beyond the ice wall, as he called it. That was live on an interview on TV, and it's never been taken away that. It's always there and it can be Googled, it can be watched, it can be seen. So he's been somewhere. He's definitely been somewhere.
Yeah, so the story about Admiral Byrd's expeditions, the Operation Highjump and whatnot, is quite interesting. I know he says there was the flying saucer craft with Nazi insignias on it and swastikas. I know at the tail end of the Second World War, the Germans were experimenting with a lot of anti-gravity craft, trying to create new weapons to obviously win the war. A lot of which was similar, or sound similar to what you kind of think of as UFOs or flying saucers. So it's possible that some of them escaped down there at the bottom, down at the South Pole. I know a lot went to Brazil and Argentina, so it's not far away from there. I can see it. Could see something going on down there, definitely.
I do think that is the gateway to Hollow Earth, as Admiral Byrd did in the 1920s. He was apparently accompanied in there by these non-Earth-like crafts, and he was taken in with his plants and animals and all shapes, sizes and even colours that we can't see. And how his education, I think did he study at Cambridge or Oxford? I know he's American. He's like one of the highest ranking officers in his field. Why would somebody with that knowledge and just everything about him make something up like that? It doesn't make sense. He had nothing. He had everything to lose from that and nothing to gain. But as you know, Antarctica is no flight zone. No one's allowed to go. You have to get permission. I think it's from 7 or 8 different countries before you can even go there. So it's even like the President of America or the Prime Minister, that they can't just go. They've got to get written permission from all these other people before they can actually go to these places. So what are they hiding? It's got to be something, definitely.
There's lots, isn't there? Do we? I think we touched on this earlier as well. Is it the Hollow Earth aspect? And then obviously there's the flat Earth aspect, and then there's Admiral Byrd. He said he'd one of them, somebody flew inside it, so then that's lent to the Hollow Earth, and I know that you can't go near it, supposedly. I mean, that's what I've read, not been tried. So again, it's unless you do it yourself, do you actually know?
The thing is with the pyramids, they're being found all over the world, and I suppose, as I know, the water levels are rising, but at the same time they're dropping as well. But the amount of, obviously, the ice that's up in or down in Antarctica, as that's melting away, you're finding these different pyramid structures. So I do believe that they are pyramids. I don't know who'd built them, whether it was us or some outside species, but I do believe that they are all over the world, and some are more hidden than others, because the ones that they found in the Amazon and that were just overgrown by plants and everything, they've cut back and they found temples and everything in there. So why would it not happen when it's got covered in ice, like thousands of feet underneath these ice caps?
I understand the theory of the Hollow Earth. We have only looked at our cave systems by between 16 and 25%. There are cave systems in the UK that come up in Turkey. They come up in Bosnia. Not only could the cryptids be using them in times, say, of bad weather, drought, flood, something like that, what's to say that the aliens haven't used them and haven't used them from day one? We're really good in 2020 at telling everyone what an expert we are. But that science will change over the next 25 years, and we'll say, oh, we were completely wrong, actually. I do believe that there is I don't think it's a hollow globe, but I think you can transverse from anywhere you want once you're down there. And if the alien races that are there are not from Earth, what if they need that cold temperature? That's their natural environment, and that's why they're there, because it's so many degrees below, and that's how they live. That's their atmosphere. Could be the other way. What if they come from a planet that's completely hot? The closer you get to the Earth's core would be more what they were used to climate-wise. So for me, I believe that. I think it's a base of some kind. It's a testing military base of some kind.
To the flat Earth aspect, there's something behind the ice wall, and you know, and it's like, you know, there's other places that we can go on this flat plane as such, and I suppose in the hollow Earth, it's, you know, that's a doorway to another world, you know, that's below us, and then that's another kettle of fish, isn't it? You know, the reptilian, or is it another form of human race that's more highly advanced that doesn't want us to know about them?
Antarctica is a place we simply cannot go to. It's a hostile environment incapable of supporting human life without vast resources. And if there's nothing down there, why are a number of the world's richest nations carving the continent up and building scientific research stations and ever-expanding military bases? There's nothing down there, apparently.